Many tourists have been to the top of the Burj Khalifa, the world's highest building in Dubai, but not many have been to the actual top, on the outside, with a wingsuit. Ex-Dubai unleashed a new stunt in collaboration with PlayStation. Athletes Matt Munting and Nicholas Scalabrino base jumped off the very top point of the Burj Khalifa at 828 metres high. Great to see Matt and Nick living the dream. What a start to the show. We are the #1 air sports and aviation programme available online. I'm your host Regan Tetlow, and this is episode 1 of season 5 of Air Sports News. So the vaccination progress is spreading all over the world, slowly opening countries and losing restrictions and allowing air sports athletes to compete again. That's why we have good news for the 2021 competition calendar, and it comes from the Sailplane Society. Whistler Aero Club invites pilots to participate in the 46th edition of the Polish Open Class Gliding Championships and the Polish National Gliding Competition in the Club A class, which will be held from the 3rd to the 13th of June this year in Lisikati Airfield. Competitors not only from Poland may compete in this contest, and more information for pilots can be found on the webpage shown on the screen right now. So the summertime is at its peak right now on the south side of the planet, so the hang gliding pilots from Australia are getting busy in competition right now. Pilots have just finished the first tasks of the Koryong Cup 2021 with more than 20 pilots on the start list. This comp continues to cater to both open and floater class gliders with separate tasks for each class. The event is also for paragliding pilots, which will start their tasks from the 7th of February. Koryong is located just a few thermal glides from Mount Kosciuszko, the highest mountain in Australia, where historically the very first Australian paragliding nationals were hosted in 1990. With the still uncertain future of the worldwide air sports calendar, the fresh optimistic news comes from the MACA company, which reveals an idea for a completely new air sport called Carcopter.
Hydrogen powered and have a top speed of 153 miles per hour. Though CES 2021 has gone virtual this year, MACA is still attending in an attempt to get a few more eyes on its sleek concept, as well as attract potential partners and investors.
The company, based in southern France, is a new startup in the flying car game. It's the brainchild of ex-fighter pilot Thierry de Bosvillers and 12-year Airbus helicopter veteran Michael Krolak, with nearly 60 years of combined aeronautics experience. The team has been working on the project for the past 3 years. So far, they have created a small third-scale battery-powered replica that is about 2.5 meters long. At full scale, the Carcopter will be about 6 meters long, hydrogen-powered, and have a top speed of 153 miles per hour. We're keeping our fingers crossed for this project. It's time for my first special guest. He's a veteran balloonist and skydiver, and in the past he was a creative director of Richard Branson's balloon company back in the 80s and 90s, and many original and famous special shaped balloons were designed by him. Please meet Mark Lockwood. So ballooning, let's get back onto ballooning a little bit. We crossed paths a few times back in Dubai, back in the day. You were in Dubai 19 years. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, I was, before I went to Dubai, I started ballooning in 1984, and I also started skydiving in 1984, believe it or not. But after that, in 1988, I joined a very fledgling young company, which was the Virgin Airship and Balloon Company.
Right.
Branson set that up after he'd done the transatlantic crossing. And we were an advertising and promotions agency using balloons and airships as an advertising vehicle. And I thought, I'll give it a year, see what happens. You never know. It was kind of unusual. So 11 years later, I was still there. We were the largest ballooning operator in the world. And it was the heyday of the air shows and the ballooning shows. We would go to Bristol and there'd be 500,000 people there at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
When's this, Mark? What year are we talking about now?
Mid-90s. Between about 1990 and 1999 was what I would classify as the heyday.
So let's move on to the future a little bit, looking towards this year and this Midland event. Tell me about that, Mark.
Right, well, the Midlands Air Festival has actually been going since 2018. So this is its third incarnation. It's supposed to be the fourth, but last year was cancelled. It's the ideal panacea to get out of this funk that we've been stuck in since March last year. I mean, we're in lockdown 3 in the UK. We're luckily only in lockdown 2. Well, we finished lockdown 2 here in France, but there is a talk that we may go back into lockdown 3. I hope not. If you can get yourself into the UK at that time, and you're allowed in, because obviously getting on a plane and coming to the UK right now is not the easiest thing in the world. But if it's all gone away by then and you're able to get across the pond, then you need to come, because you would absolutely knock yourself out at this gig. It's a great show.
There's a whole bunch of many other amazing aviation stories from Mark, and they can be found in the full-length interview with him already uploaded on our YouTube channel. We have the final 2020 results of the amazing Sky on Stage skydiving online contest in the Skysurf and two-way freestyle. The contest is designed by my good friend Teti Martinengel. For the last few months, skydivers from all over the world sent their performances on the Sky on Stage YouTube channel, fighting to win first place. The best team in the Skysurf category are Keith Snyder and Daryl Dubiel from the American Skysurf team, and in the two-way freestyle, first place goes to the Coralie and Greg team. You can find more details about the overall results on the Sky on Stage Instagram fan page. There were dozens of charity auctions to support medics fighting with the COVID-19 pandemic during last year. Now we have a really interesting one from the paramotor pilots. Point to Point is a charity paramotor expedition to raise money for the UK's air ambulance charities and many leading mental health charities. The challenge will eventually be to fly a paramotor from John O'Groats to Land's End, and now the team is seeking funds to get the training off to a start. The current plan is to take off in late August 2021, visiting a number of air ambulance air bases along the way. You can support this great idea at pointtopoint.org. Let's stay in the UK to speak with my second special guest this week. He's a pilot of one of the most recognisable civil air display teams in England, flying an amazing Grob aircraft, providing absolutely amazing daytime and nighttime pyro shows in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rob Barsby from Aerosparks.
Aerosparks is a very unique team. We're the only team in the world doing what we do, really. Wow. We do nighttime formation aerobatics with pyro. So in other words, it's very dark. So most people think we're crazy. But we've spent a lot of time and effort developing this show, and what we really like is it's very graceful. I mean, you've seen the show, very graceful, very beautiful, and we are probably one of the only teams, if not the only team, that can consistently let fireworks off for at least 6-7 minutes.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's art in the sky. It really is. I saw you in Gdynia in Poland, to the beautiful classical track. It's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, especially with water. If you've got a water, Gdynia is a good example. Got reflection of the water. We're also working on lots of other projects currently, which you saw again in Gdynia, where we do transitions between ourselves and a firework display. Yeah. So instead of us just doing our little bit and then moving off and disappearing, it's actually really nice now to work with a transition, we call it, with a wall of fire. So some of the guys might have seen some of the videos we've got where we've got walls of fire with flyby, and we're just working on now, so stay tuned, we're just working on now integration with drones.
Wow.
So there's a whole new sort of genre starting to come out that I think we can add even more to the show.
And when you say drones, are you talking about the big groups of drones, like the hundreds of drones all in formation?
Well, use your imagination.
Wow.
Can you imagine what we could do with some of the stuff you've seen online?
After the show, you can check out our YouTube channel to watch the full-length interview with Rob. So if I say Cadillac, what do you think of? Huge, comfortable US cars? Well, now, it's not only that, because Cadillac have decided to enter into the VTOL vehicles market. Cadillac appears to be taking its current marketing slogan, Rise Above, quite literally. The automaker's parent company, General Motors, unveiled a video for the Consumer Electric Show featuring a prototype single-seat design with a novel two-level arrangement for the rotors. The vehicle will fly about 45 knots using a 90 kilowatt motor to power the rotors. As mentioned, it will be an autonomous vehicle and the luxurious inside is optimized for the occupant to relax and enjoy the view. Now let's jump into a quick update video with the Green Dragons flight schools. They've already started some interesting Zoom online coaching conversations with hang gliding pilots. Let's hear more from Andy Shaw.
So yeah, I'm in Green Dragons now and we're working on Zoom meetings.
Right.
Brand new for us. I'm not really an IT super guy. I like to think I'm a good instructor, but also we're studying IT more than ever now.
Yeah.
And we're doing this Zoom stuff. So we're doing Learn to Fly. And our disciplines of hang gliding, paragliding, paramotor, parascending, and the self-propelled hang gliders, the new electric launching hang gliders and powered flight, that's what we're working on. So we're going to run these Zoom meetings dedicated to each of these areas. We're trying to not do a teach yourself. We're trying to educate to say, hey guys, well, this is the equipment. This is important checks that we do. This is the psychology of being a good airman. The psychology of being in the right place at the right time and the right family and the work and all the pressures of life you can't take to the airfield. You can't take to the mountain. You've got to leave them at home. So we're going to try and help people prepare themselves. And in some ways, this could be really good for people because maybe they spend their good hard-earned money because they see a lovely picture of a hang glider flying around and a paramotor buzzing around. I want to do that. They put their money forward and then all of a sudden they haven't researched it enough, asked enough questions to the instructors, and they realise it's just not the right time in their life to start at the moment. So in a year's time, that might be perfect for them. So we're going to try and help people understand when is the right time to start flying.
In some of the past Air Sports News episodes, we have shown you outstanding stunt flights with FPV drone pilots. This time, it's the WAFPV fan page that have released a video about how drones can beautifully cooperate with paraglider pilots in some amazing snowy French Alps scenery. Take a look. Absolutely stunning shots. Alright, let's move straight on to our hero of the week. 16 Right, The Romance of Flying is an independent documentary film about the general aviation industry as seen through a local airport. Concurrently, the film has garnered both local and national political attention in the United States as an accurate depiction of general aviation. It depicts local airports through the life, history and struggle of Southern California's Van Nuys Airport. The 16 Right DVD made news by selling over 10,000 units independently in its first 2 weeks of release, and 16 Right's website became a leading example of successful independent film distribution by developing a viral marketing strategy. On the 17th of January 1906, Graf von Zeppelin's second airship, Zeppelin II, designed by Ludwig Durr, made its first and only flight at Lake Constance, a large lake at the base of the Alps. LZ-2 was 127 meters long. The rigid structure was built of triangular section girders that combined lightweight and strength. Hydrogen gas contained in bags inside the airship's envelope gave it its buoyancy. On the 17th of January 1932, the 11th Bombardment Squadron from the US Army Air Corps flew 6 Curtiss B-2 Condor bombers to drop food and supplies to the Navarro Reservation near Winslow, Arizona. A severe winter storm had isolated the community and caused the deaths of thousands of livestock. More than 30,000 pounds of food was dropped to support the 20,000 people. On the 18th of January 1958, astronaut Jeffrey Williams was born. He's a veteran of 4 space flights and formerly held the American record for the most days spent in space, which was surpassed in April 2017 by his colleague Peggy Whitson. He still holds the record of the longest time in space for an American man, and it is 534 days in total. On the 23rd of January 1909, the Blériot 11 aircraft made its first flight. It was a French aircraft of the pioneer era of aviation. The first example was used by Louis Blériot to make the first flight across the English Channel in a heavier-than-air aircraft. This is one of the most famous accomplishments of the pioneer era of aviation. That's it for today. Remember, you can write to us at news@airsportspromotion.com whenever you want to, and also register on the airsportsfan.com platform. My name's Regan Tetlow, and I'm hoping to see you back here again next week. So take care, stay safe, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies.